Did you hear about the doctor as well? Like, it's quickly going off topic slightly, but you hear about the doctor who died of a COVID vaccination. That's why I got no
Yeah,
jabs. Anyone who knows me knows no jabs. But for context, was it AstraZeneca? Is that how you pronounce it?
yeah, that one, whichever one that one is.
What's the difference in them? Do you know? I don't even know. I don't even know. It's just a name.
Yeah, I think. Um, yeah, I'm not even gonna sit here and try and lie. I don't know the difference between all of them. I probably should, to be fair. Um, but yeah, I don't know. But there's been a couple, but that's a higher profile one.
It's a
Um,
shame as well. He's a doctor as well. Not the irony. Like, I don't want to say like the irony. He's a doctor, but you'd think. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just mad that it's a
mm,
doctor that's died. It's mad, and he's local. He's only he's in Kent, Seven Oaks.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So eh,
I thought he's from like abroad. I thought he was American or something, but that's
no,
local.
no, he's I'm sure he's an English guy.
Yeah.
Mm,
Mad.
yeah, it's a weird. It's a strange one for a lot of reasons because obviously, so we're not going to go into the COVID theories because we'd just be here all day. But it's just interesting because people's views before they wanted to take it. I can't remember if he was forced to take it as well, because obviously we know that up until literally the day before the deadline, people in the NHS were told they have to take it, otherwise they're going to lose they're going to lose their job. Um, so it was a bit of a it was a weird one.
It's a bit mad because I think
Yeah.
it's mad because just thinking back now when you said that about NHS staff having to take it, I'd assume, and this is a thing actually. Before I say that bit, sometimes it's not the vaccine that's the problem; it's the person. Like, there could be things that's wrong with the person that the person doesn't know that's wrong with them. They take the vaccine, and then that could lead to blood clots. It could lead, which is what I think. Just reading this now, I think that's kind of what happened.
Yeah,
They had a
I
bleed
think
on the
it
brain,
was. Yeah.
and then the vaccine induced thrombosis, which I didn't even know was a thing, but clearly it is. So then once you get things like that, that could have been something that was like underlying, like an issue that he had, they just didn't know about it. So it's sad, man. It's sad. Yeah, it's sad to hear that.
No, and I think because he was young as well. I think he was in his
Yeah,
early 30s. But
32.
it just whether you know you want to be a pro-vax or anti-vax as well, it's just quite surprising that despite I know that I understand the urgency based on those people administering it and saying to get it, they felt they're on the right. But even just sometimes if you give blood, they test you, don't they? Like they'll take into account your demographics, but I think generally they just test you. So it makes me question why people weren't being tested first, even if you've got an underlying condition. But it's almost this
What,
kind
before you
of
got the vaccine, you mean? Why
yeah,
wasn't you tested before? I
yeah.
suppose it was a
Why?
turnaround though. You think about how many millions of people that they needed to vaccinate or they wanted to get vaccinated within a
Mm,
period of time. I don't think they even thought about testing. They just jab people. And that was one of the things that put me off, was that like the testing of the vaccine hadn't really been done properly, and they were doing like live testing on people.
just to see what happens, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of a little. That was my theory. Like we said, we're not going to get into theories, but that's how I kind of looked at it. Was like they haven't really tested it for long enough to know the implications if anything goes wrong, side effects and anything like that. Because some people used to tell me, "Oh no, I didn't get any side effects," and then they'd have like the second one, and it would put them in bed for like a week. So, and any vaccine can do that, not just the COVID ones. Like you could take vaccine for anything, it could have those same effects to you, but it's just mad. I can't remember what countries. I think it might be Finland or somewhere like that. They've literally stopped all vaccinations. Like they're not offering COVID vaccines anymore, and they've kind of put a stop to it a little bit. Almost trying to that last step of normality for. I think it's Finland anyway, but whatever country it is, it's
Mm.
like the last step of normalization for them now. Do you know what I mean? They're going back to that normal phase of like You know, remember I was talking about this the other day. Remember, like you had to get a COVID pass, you had to show a pass to get into a venue, you had to queue to get in the shop. Like when you think back, I'm mad that period of our. No, I'm laughing, but that was a mad period. Man had to queue to get into like the shop to get food. Come on.
No, it is. I felt like there'll be. I know that I think there has been a film already or some documentaries, but I feel like there's going to be quite a few more where people have like documented stuff. Because I watched one. It was a 10-minute one, but it was about, again, I think it was on Twitter. It was just the news. It was just capturing all the news bulletins. It's quite nuts. Like I think it was from maybe December time, something like that, December 2019, all the way through to about like December 2021 or something. Just the whole escalation. It just feels now like it didn't happen. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like it just feels like that it's just something that, it was a hypothetical situation or a film that everybody watched that we all know of, but it didn't happen. Well, for me personally, obviously, if anyone has been affected by it or had someone die from it or what have you, people
Yeah,
long COVID, it's
100%.
different. But yeah, just parts of it just feels like it just never happened at all.
Yeah, it's weird because you got to remember back then it was constantly being pushed in the news every single day. We had
COVID
what was his
bulletins.
name? The
Uh,
Boris. Boris was doing them daily things with that other guy, Whitty. Can't remember his name, Professor Whitty.
did a hot dog with eyebrows, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Oh, at least it's not me this week. Yeah, at least. Oh, yeah, the guy with the hot dog with the eyebrows, him.
Yeah, that brother.
Yeah, they were doing the daily stuff, and then it was every single day. You couldn't like even on my phone. Like I remember at one point, I think I took all the news apps off there. Just everything was off my phone that had anything to do with it. I was sick of hearing about it. But then, yeah, I just think now. I think people are more wise to it now. I read the other day they're trying to offer the vaccination to like not newborns, but that next stage, like a couple of months old. I think like 5 and below, because I think that was the only group that was never originally put in a category to say that they need it or they can have it. Whereas now it's available for them. But I just think if we're treating it as like a common cold or we're treating it like a cold now, why are we even offering it out anymore? I just think what I think already about making
Yeah.
the rich richer and and all that. So I think that was the real ultimate reason for it. But just before we move on though, but did you see the thing with the reporter? And the reason I bring this up is there was a reporter with Elon Musk, and they had an interview about Twitter. So going off topic slightly, but I'll bring it back to a full circle in a minute. But he was talking about hate crime or hate speech. Sorry, not hate crime, hate speech on Twitter and how it's increased since he's taken over and all these mad things. BBC reporter as well. So then Elon Musk asked him, "Can you tell me 2 examples of the hate that you've seen that you're talking about?" But the BBC brother can't tell him nothing. He's just like, I haven't, I don't use Twitter. I haven't used it for months. So then he's saying to him, but you've just said you've seen it. You've literally just said to me, you've seen this hate speech on there, and it's increased, and it's alarming to other people. And he's caught him now because he's like, well, and then I think the reporter goes, oh, but someone else has told me that it's happening on there. So he says, okay, then can you give me the examples? And he's like, oh, I can't. So my point is to bring it back full circle is that it's mad how the and I'm not saying there isn't hate speech on there because I know there is, but it's mad how the narrative of anything that the media or the news want to tell you, they can just tell you and it can become true. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they remember the times they were telling us that people are going to be lying dead in the streets if you didn't take this vaccine, and remember. And I'm not saying people didn't die. So again, I'm not trying to disrespect anyone that lost their lives during that period. But they were talking like we were going to be like it was going to be the end of the world. Do you get what I'm saying?
No,
Remember you couldn't get no toilet paper. You couldn't get toilet paper off the shelves. It was empty. Remember, no pasta, no nothing. So it's mad how they spun this mad narrative that the world's about to end and we're all going to die. You got to get vaccinated so you're alive. And then
Yeah,
So
definitely that media campaign, because I feel, well, I think I should say, and I'm happy to be corrected, but I'm sure they started saying things like, "Oh, if you have COVID and you don't stay in your bubble, and or not if you might have it, you don't have the symptoms, you don't stay in your bubble, don't get a vaccine, you go to your grandma, you're gonna kill them, they're gonna die, it'll all be your fault," and
yeah,
that kind of thing. And it was
the
like,
blame. He was blaming.
one one second, 1 second, huh?
Mm. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy, man. And to be fair, I'm not even gonna lie. The first COVID thing, the first lockdowns and the waves and all that, I was believing. I'm not even gonna lie. I was in with everyone. I was like, yeah, this is mad. Like, I remember not wanting to send my kids out, and no one was allowed in the house, and my kids weren't leaving the house, and just everything was on lockdown for us. And then I think like the second lockdown, I relaxed a couple of things, or we relaxed a couple of things in the house and whatever. And then the third one, I was just like, nah, nah, I'm not doing this, man. There's certain people I hadn't seen for so long. Do you know what I mean? Because I was following the rules and we was going out for our 1 hour walk and all that stupidness. And then I was like, nah, I'm not doing this, man. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So, but then again, to caveat all of that, I'm not disrespecting anyone that wants to adhere by it. And I still see people now in the shops, like the woman that served me last week, she had a mask on still. So I'm not trying to discredit anyone who wants to do that, or they believe in it, or they, do you know what I mean? They still want to protect themselves and shield as much as they can. Then some people's immune systems are worse than mine, so I get it.
yeah. That's the thing, because I'm not gonna lie, like I still wear my mask on the tube, but it's because the tube's a
But
mess.
you
I know
have
it's
to down there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know it's not gonna protect me from everything. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's can't like it's just mad dusty down there. So I've got an excuse to wear, because sometimes you see people used to wear it before even the pandemic, but no, I've got an excuse now, so I just throw it on. I can't even bother, and it means if I fall asleep, I can fall asleep with my mouth open as well.
Man said he can dribble in peace.